Good afternoon, traders. This is Christian from Choppy Trade Group, and this is your end of day video for what is today. Today is Wednesday, the 19th. A little bit of choppy markets, I would say, for the day. Bonds were essentially flat, so was the dollar. The VIX was down a little bit. But like I said, little bit of choppiness on the tape, a little bit of rotation on the tape too. What outperformed for the day? Actually, biotech that ended up doing the best for the day. Healthcare stocks, and some growth stocks all over the place. I'm going to start with the indices really quick. S&P looks pretty darn good here, up about 20 basis points and getting a little bit further above the value area for the month. So I know that there's a lot of movers today. I'm going to go over a couple of those. There were some headlines too, but S&P, looks quite intact. The Qs too. The Qs are staying above the 5-period moving average. They're also decently above the value area for the month. What can you say about IWM other than like a complete mess? I don't know. There's got to be some stats out there about the amount of time that something is hung around its 50-day moving average, because IWM has done just that now for like the last month. I mean, this is pretty crazy when you look at this. Do I try to figure this out or anything like that? No, I just kind of stay away from it. Probably selling premium, hindsight 2020 would have worked really well, both to the downside and to the upside, like iron condors, because this thing hasn't moved. And as the 50-day moving average has come down, it's also come down. I also just want to look at what the equally weighted indices did today. Pretty darn good. RSP was up 20, up 20 basis points. So it's okay to have a quiet day. We have to remember too, here's the equally weighted Qs, which were just barely down, it looks like, on the session. So again, we've got some things ahead of us. We've got, monthly options expiration. We know that seasonality gets weaker around this time and after the options expiration. So that's something to definitely be mindful of. And then one other thing here I'm going to mention too. Uh, before I go over a couple a couple of sector moves, I want to talk about this SMCI today. Hey, this has made a really nice move. Congratulations if you caught the long. People were wondering why this thing sold off at the end of the day. Well, because you hit a virgin point of control. That's overhead supply. Those are great places to take profits, right? Where a lot of overhead supply lurks. This is what's called the virgin point of control. If you're a regular viewer of my video, you know I talk a lot about these. This is where there's been a lot of volume where price hasn't revisited. So it gets hit with sellers there. Palantir was another one. Like, I don't know what the fascination when people think, oh my God, it sold off a lot. I mean, down 10%. Look at the move that this stock has made. Putting things in perspective, it's been really strong. And so again, probably due for some type of a move back. I mean, it's a really expensive stock. So there you go. So what am I looking at? Well, I actually like this group. This is Argentina. I was looking at this today too, seeing if it can come back, but it didn't quite get into the value area. A reminder that Melly reports, I believe, after the close tomorrow, which is about 23% of the ETF. I was also going to talk about this ETF too, which is ARC-G, right? This is genomics, right? And so I'm liking a lot of things that look like this. Right. So first of all, you kind of have to zoom out. I forgot if I went over this in yesterday's video. Now, this also did take an upside VPOC, so you have to kind of watch and pay attention here. But because there's overhead supply, but I like the base that this is going through and starting to move higher. Like, I think one of the stocks in here is RXRX. We've seen so many names retrace some moves. Like, this is another one, base and starting to break higher. So I think this is a good area to kind of watch. And then just watch, software was particularly weak today. That's okay. This group has been on such a run. Let this group kind of come in a little bit. We've seen some really good earnings in this group, right? Let these things kind of come in a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's something that we talked about in the weekend video too, regarding, like, we know that there's this weaker seasonality towards the end of February. But is that the worst thing in the world? No, because so many names, like a Palantir, for example, and I'm not saying I'm going out and buying this one, but they're just extended, right? These things can't just keep going up in a straight line. I mean, it's great when they do, but you have to be a little bit, I like to insert this word from time to time in these end of day videos, which is you have to be realistic, right? I mean, come on. This thing gapped up on earnings to 100. The stock runs up to 125, right? Another one too that I would like to buy in the dip is AppLovin. Would I buy it here? Probably not. But maybe it kind of comes in and tests in here. One name that I'm watching didn't quite, well, it actually was okay today, which was Reddit, RDDT. I'll be watching that name tomorrow. Again, not the strongest earnings in the world, but it is like a cult type name. Another name that too, like if it comes back again, like this is what you want. Like I want to be looking at if we do get some weakness in the next week and a half, like something like Bros. I'm not gonna buy it here up 85 bucks where it gapped up on 65, but maybe it kind of comes in a bit, right? So that's what I would be paying attention to. So don't get discouraged, in my opinion, when you see a little bit of market weakness, right? So again, just kind of, I'm not saying that we're definitely going to get that, but it's good to have a list of things that you want, have your list out of things that you've wanted to buy that you feel like you've missed. Because a lot of these names have gapped up and have gone. And so these things coming back in, I think would be really good. That's it for tonight, guys. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.